I'm drowning in your mess. I play the savior while you play the broken guest. Then the mirror flips and suddenly I'm the one to blame. You hold the knife while I wear the shame. We keep switching faces in this darkened room. Same old story under a different moon. Hero, villain, victim, the triangle that traps us all. Spinning in the dark, we rise just to fall. I save you, you destroy me, then I beg for more. We're addicted to the roles we can't ignore. Hero, villain, victim, nobody wins this war. You cried the softest tears and I become the light, until my light gets heavy and you turn me into night. Now I'm the monster in the story that you tell, while you stay pure in the version that sells. Round and round we go, no exit in this game. Every time we switch, we still call it by the same name. Who's the hero tonight? Who's bleeding on the floor? We're all three at once behind the same locked door. Hero, villain, victim, the triangle that traps us all. Spinning in the dark, we rise just to fall. I save you, you destroy me, then I beg for more. We're addicted to the roles we can't ignore. Hero, villain, victim, and the circle never ends.
Hey guys, hey, can you hear me okay? Are my volumes like too high? I'm trying something new right now, so bear with me a little bit as we are getting into a new era. Uh excuse me, because of course people don't like to be bothered when they go live, and then as soon as I go live, everybody wants to disrupt my live. So anyway, back to where we were. Every story seems to need three people: somebody to save, somebody doing the saving, and somebody to blame. We call one the victim, we call another the hero, and we turn the third into the villain. The structure makes sense in fairy tales, right? It makes stories easy to understand. The hero is good, the villain is bad, the victim is innocent. Everybody knows who to cheer for, who to protect, and who to punish. But human beings are not fairy tale characters. Real people are inconsistent. We can be wounded in one situation and harmful in another. We can help someone from a place of love and still cross their boundaries. We can be wrong about one thing without being wrong about everything. Yet, we keep trying to force complicated people into simple roles. Once we assign those roles, we begin protecting them. The victim is not allowed to possess any power. The hero not allowed to have selfish motives. The villain is not allowed to have context, humanity, or the ability to change. That is when conflict stops being about resolution and becomes a performance. This afternoon, we're discussing the hero, the villain, and the victim, not as permanent identities, but as positions people occupy inside an unhealthy triangle. Which role are you protecting? And what does that role protect you from confronting? You playing the role of canceled. Get on my face. This nonsense. So anyway, as we get into it, you see this? Why are we not seeing this? Why are y'all not seeing this? Or am I just not seeing it? Let me look on my computer. I mean my phone to see. Nope, you guys are not seeing that. That's very interesting. Give me one moment, you guys. Like I said, we're trying new things. We're doing new stuff. Shiggity. Okay, so now I see it. Why don't y'all? Unlock it. Unlock it. Here. That's so weird that you guys can't see that. Oh, that's irritating me. But you can see this one. That's ridiculous. So let me remove this one and add it back in. Y'all know how I am. I'm an artist. And I'm sensitive about my stuff. So y'all bear with me. And that's it and that's all. That's because people are heathens, you know. It's the heathens that are irritating the atmosphere. All you heathens, get it together. Let me see something. Just add it like this. Ah, there we go. Okay. So, listen. First of all, let me tell you, we are doing a new style because, quite frankly, I'm tired of Streamlabs. Streamlabs has did some nonsense this weekend, and we made it our business to say they are canceled. Okay, here we go. Back to our regularly scheduled. What the What the stiggity? Back to our regularly scheduled program. The drama triangle. This idea did not begin as a social media theory. And everybody hit the like button, subscribe, share it out, hype it up if you can. In the comments when you catch the replay, let me know if you like the new format and if you are excited to see where this new format is going to go. In 1968, psychiatrist Stephen Karpman introduced what became known as the drama triangle. In an article titled Fairy Tales in Script Drama Analysis, he identified three recurring positions: the victim, the rescuer, and the persecutor. And this show is dedicated to my cousin. We were having a very great conversation the other day, and she brought this topic to the forefront. Matter of fact, you know what I'm saying? I mean, make sure she get it so she can see. Anyway, so for this afternoon, I'm going to call them the victim, the hero, and the villain because those are the roles we recognize in everyday storytelling, right? But there is an essential distinction. In this model, the word victim does not automatically mean a person who has objectively experienced a crime, abuse, discrimination. Hey Triggs, hey T Pre, hey Tootie Bug, hey everybody, hey Joe, hey everybody in the chat. Welcome, welcome. This doesn't mean a person who has objectively experienced a crime, abuse, discrimination, or another form of harm. It describes a psychological position characterized by powerlessness. That distinction matters because this framework should never be used to blame survivors. A person can be an actual victim of someone's conduct. That is a fact about what happened. The unhealthy pattern begins when powerlessness becomes the only identity that person is permitted or willing to possess. Be wary of the perpetual victims. Karpman's model also emphasizes role switching. The person who begins as the rescuer may become the persecutor when help is rejected. The person who begins as the victim may become the persecutor when questioned. The person labeled the persecutor may claim victimhood when consequences arrive. A 2022 peer reviewed study developed and validated a drama triangle scale intended to measure the three enacted roles. Now, that does not make the triangle a complete explanation of human behavior. It does show, however, that researchers have attempted to operationalize the framework Beyond motivational language and internet graphics, the purpose of the triangle is not to diagnose everyone else. It is to recognize when we have entered the performance. It's kind of a function of CBT and DBT therapy models, right? So let's talk about the victim. Okay? Get into it. When help becomes control, victimization is real. People experience violence, abuse, exploitation, betrayal, discrimination, harassment, and circumstances they did not create. Acknowledging agency should never become a way to erase responsibility from the person who caused harm. Hey, Beachy, if somebody breaks into your house, we don't begin by criticizing the quality of your locks. Well, you should have used a better lock. Hell. Accountability belongs first to the person who committed the act. But there is a difference between saying something harmful happened to me and saying, because something harmful happened to me, I have no power over anything that happens next. One statement names the harm, the other risks turning the harm into an identity. In fact, let me show this to my sister too. Let me show this to my sister too while I'm married. No, I'm just playing. Research concerning learned helplessness helps explain how repeated exposure to uncontrollable circumstances can affect expectations and behavior. A person may stop trying to change a situation after learning through repeated experience that their actions do not affect the outcome. This is when you see people get a little crazy, a little psychotic, a little psycho, okay? That response is not automatically laziness, weakness, or manipulation. It can be an adaptation to circumstances. Hey, oh, now y'all can hear it. Now y'all can hear the audio. Y'all can hear it now. I know y'all can hear it now because I can hear it now. Hey, okay. That's what I wanted to do. So it can be an adaptation to circumstances that genuinely felt inescapable. But an adaptation that once protected you can eventually imprison you. There can also be a social reward attached to remaining visibly wounded. Pain can attract support, protection, validation, and community. None of these things is inherently wrong. The danger begins when healing appears to threaten belonging. If the community formed around your wound, well, what happens when the wound begins to close? If people know you primarily through what someone did to you, then who are you when that event no longer controls every chapter? Hmm. Some people will help you survive, but become uncomfortable when you begin to live without them. How do I live without you? I want to know. How do I breathe without you? If you'd ever know. A healthier response does not deny the injury, it restores choice. What remains within my control? What support do I need? What boundary is now necessary? What decision can I make today? Who am I beyond this experience? Agency does not mean accepting blame for what another person did. Agency means refusing to hand that person permanent ownership of what you do next. Be mindful of help. Don't you ever let help become control. The hero. The hero is usually the most difficult role to question because helping looks normal. Some heroes genuinely care. They see suffering and want to reduce it. And that's not what we're criticizing. We are examining the moment help becomes identity. The unhealthy hero does not simply want to help. The unhealthy hero needs to be needed. They may offer solutions nobody requested. They may take control of another person's decisions. They may confuse support with authority. They may believe that good intentions exempt them from respecting boundaries. And when their help is rejected, resentment appears. After everything I did for you, you wouldn't be here without me. I was the only person who defended you. Those statements reveal the hidden contract. The help was presented as a gift, but obedience was expected as payment. That's how the rescuer becomes the persecutor. Psychological research on reactance shows that people often resist when they perceive their freedom of choice as being threatened. Even well intentioned attempts to control another person can produce resistance rather than cooperation. Healthy support preserves autonomy. What outcome do you want? How can I support your decision? Do you want advice? Do you want assistance? Or simply someone to listen? Hey, Vibrant. Am I helping you because you need me or because I need to feel necessary? Mm. A hero who cannot tolerate being unnecessary is not seeking resolution. They are seeking a permanent position in someone else's story. And I put up the picture of the villain while we were talking about the hero because the roles are so interchangeably symmetrical. Hey, the LA Project. Every triangle needs someone to blame. Never forget that. Sometimes the accused person caused genuine harm and should be held accountable. Accountability, boundaries, and legal consequence may be necessary, but accountability addresses conduct. Villainization converts conduct into total identity. It moves from you did something harmful to you are harm itself. Once someone becomes the villain, everything is reinterpreted through that label. If they apologize, they are manipulating. If they remain silent, they are arrogant. If they explain, they're making excuses. If they change, they're pretending. If they suffer, they deserve it. The villain is placed inside an unwinnable system because the community is no longer evaluating behavior, honey. It's maintaining a narrative. Now, this does not mean every apology is sincere or every explanation is truthful. It means accountability requires a standard that can be applied consistently. What happened? What evidence supports the claim? What responsibility belongs to each person? What would repair reasonably require? Is the desired outcome correction, protection, restoration, or destruction? Accountability should have an identifiable purpose. If no possible change, apology, restitution, or consequence could ever be enough, we may no longer be pursuing accountability. We may be protecting our need for a villain. I need a villain. I need a villain in the morning light. Because that's what a lot of people do. which I found to be phenomenal when I was thinking about this show. A lot of people, really, people have made errors. People have done things that maybe they regret or whatever, and they moved past it. But the community can't because the community has to pinpoint who's the bad guy. I'm the bad guy. Duh. But let's keep this story going. Y'all know I'm petty. Uh, rotating the roles and how the roles switch. Imagine a friend calls and says she's having relationship problems. You listen, advise her, defend her, and become emotionally invested in her leaving. You have entered as the hero. She returns to the relationship. Hey, YouTube unfolded. Now you become angry. You call her foolish and tell her she wasted your time. See, now the hero has become the villain. She says nobody understands her and everyone abandons her. She occupies the victim position. Then she attacks you publicly for judging her. The victim becomes the villain. See, you explained that you were only trying to help and now felt mistreated after everything you sacrificed. The villain becomes the victim. The roles changed, but the conflict remains. Each participant can point to somebody else's conduct as proof that their position is justified. Nobody has to examine the original boundary violation, whether advice was requested or the difference between support and control. Movement is not always progress. Sometimes, and for a long time, people are simply rotating around the same conflict. And to further elucidate this point, I'm going to tell you how to be a good friend from my lens. I tell my friends this all the time in regards to relationships. If you love him or her today, we love him or her today. If you hate him or her tomorrow, we hate him or her tomorrow. That's it and that's all. It's not my life. I'm not there to judge your choices. I'm there to be a support. Some people need to learn how to be a friend. Thank you for being a friend. Travel around the world and back again. My heart is true. You're a belle and a confidant. Social media industrialized the triangle. Social media did not invent public conflict, moral judgment, or collective punishment, but it gave the triangle an audience, a scoreboard, and a financial incentive. A victim story creates emotional investment. A hero organizes the response. A villain gives the audience a target. Then we add views, shares, donations, memberships, sponsorships, and algorithmic distribution. My God, today it's an orgasm of conflict becoming content. And research published in Science Advances found that social feedback can reinforce expressions of moral outrage online. And users who received greater social rewards for outrage expressions were more likely to express outrage again. The researchers discussed both reinforcement learning and norm learning. A study published in PNAS found that posts expressing hostility towards an opposing group were particularly effective at generating engagement in political social media environments. Hell, look at Clarissa Shields and Remy Ma. We just talked about that the other day. Catch the video if you missed it. That doesn't mean that every person expressing outrage is dishonest. It means the environment rewards particular expressions. The audience also becomes part of the triangle. We rescue people we have never met. We prosecute people based on edited clips. We adopt another person's conflict as evidence of our own righteousness. If the victim heals, the series loses urgency. If the hero admits uncertainty, authority weakens. If the villain changes, the audience loses its target. Social media does not merely document the triangle, it can reward every participant for refusing to leave it. But the gag is the best reward is when you make the choice to leave. You choose every day what you choose to engage in. But that's when we're talking about conduct versus identity. And this is that thin fine line. Accountability identifies conduct, examines credible evidence, establishes responsibility, applies proportionate consequences, protects people from continuing harm, and leaves room for correction when correction is possible. Role assignment decides who is good and who is evil, interprets everything accordingly, and punishes anyone who complicates the story. Accountability is specific. Villainization is totalizing. Accountability can survive new information. Role assignment treats new information as betrayal. Why are you fighting this? Why are you convicted? Why are you emotional? I'm emotional. I gotta let it go. Let the shit go. Accountability asks what happened. Role assignment asks whose side are you on? What's that you claim, cuz? Objectivity does not require neutrality between harm and innocence. It requires that conclusion remain answerable to evidence. Sometimes the person we like is wrong. Sometimes the person we dislike is telling the truth. Sometimes an actual victim responds to harm in a harmful way. And sometimes a person accused of wrongdoing is guilty of one thing and falsely accused of another. Sometimes two people have harmed each other differently. Human complexity does not prevent accountability, it prevents lazy accountability. That's the gag. So, how do we leave the triangle? That's the question, isn't it? How do we leave this goddamn triangle and get off the Ferris wheel? Well, leaving the triangle does not mean abandoning people or refusing to confront wrongdoing. It means replacing performances with healthier positions. Instead of victim, move towards agency. I did not choose what happened, but I can choose my next responsible step. Instead of hero, move towards support. I can care about you without controlling you. Instead of villain, move towards accountability with boundaries. I can name harmful conduct without reducing a human being to that conduct. Before rescuing, ask yourself this: did anybody ask you? Before condemning, ask what evidence would change your conclusion. Before centering your victimization, ask what power you still possess. And before joining a public conflict, ask whether you're contributing to a resolution or auditioning for a role. See, you can validate pain without validating every interpretation. You can hold someone accountable without demanding annihilation. You can offer help without making yourself indispensable. You can do it. You can. But, it is what it is, kid. The hero, the villain, and the victim work beautifully in fairy tales because fairy tales end. Real relationships do not resolve so cleanly. There is no narrator arriving to tell us Johnny was entirely good and Rebecca was entirely evil. They're only people, wounded people, defensive people, helpful people who sometimes overreach, harmed people who sometimes cause harm, wronged people who sometimes change, right people who sometimes become self righteous. Leaving the triangle does not require pretending that nobody was harmed. It requires refusing to let harm become the only organizing principle of everybody's identity. Ain't y'all tired of being sad? Ain't y'all tired of being upset? Ain't you tired of being hurt? Why don't you pick up your feelings? The next time a conflict presents you with a victim to protect, a hero to celebrate, and a villain to destroy, slow down. Ask what happened. Ask what is supported. Ask what remains unresolved. Ask whether your participation restores agency or feeds the performance. Am I trying to solve the conflict or am I trying to secure my favorite position inside it? See, what up, Uncle Rick? Yeah. So, hey, 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 hey. Thank you for the support and the love. Appreciate you, appreciate you. Sometimes the only way to stop playing a villain is to stop persecuting. The only way to stop playing a victim is to reclaim your agency. And the only way to stop playing the hero is to understand that people do not have to remain broken for your goodness to matter. Nobody wins inside the drama triangle. The freedom is in stepping outside of it. And with that being said, I hope y'all did truly enjoy, this first little ditty into our new endeavors. Again, I'm ramping up for some things. I'm getting some things in order or whatever. Please be sure to subscribe. Share, hype it up, like it out, leave a super things if you want to. Every role in the triangle offers emotional protection, but none of them require emotional freedom. And I will also be adding links to the description bar for anybody that wants to do a little, more collegiate deep dive into the subject matter and look at some of the information that I utilized to pull this show together. But that being said, y'all, I'm gonna let y'all get on up out of here. Let me change this song, honey, because we got to go. Bye. Is it gonna play though? But is it gonna play though? It is.
I wear the cape when you're drowning in your mess. I play the savior while you play the broken guest. Then the mirror flips and suddenly I'm the one to blame. You hold the knife while I wear the shame.